Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the DFS MLB strategy video. I'm here once again by myself. No Josh this morning. Um, we're gonna do the same thing we've kind of done the last couple days, and hopefully we get some good chatters once again, and we'll go through both the main and the early slates. All right, let's see here. What's up, Aaron? I'm just gonna load in my projected lineups while we're waiting for some people to come in. Here we go. What's up? What's up? I was good. Actually, it wasn't great. I mean, I finished fine, but it's not like I had any huge cashes. So one lineup didn't put it all together, but it was still fine. I mean, I was high in the Nat stack, and I didn't really make much money, which was kind of disappointing. But that happens sometimes because it's not like they were unowned or anything like that. How'd you guys' night go? Yeah, I had the Nat stack. I hope you guys... If I was in more single entry stuff, I probably would have profited a ton more, but that's the risk you take in the mini-max. There's some sharp people in there. And the table setter and the four-seamer and obviously the $8, so... Or whatever it was last night, the $9. Cahill, I was talking to one of my friends. Cahill, that start was incredibly lucky. He was just getting line out after line out, a couple line outs into double plays. He didn't look good, so I didn't feel great about his 21 points or whatever he had. But I guess I'll take it. He was fine. Godley was the play. I actually ended up around the field with Godley, so I was fine with him doing that, but just disappointing that I wasn't all in on him since he's kind of been my guy all year and last year. And yeah, that happens, of course, when he's chalk. So, Atlanta, Washington stack. Oh man, did Atlanta go off once they finally started playing? I wasn't paying attention to that game at all. $11 runs. Oh man. Yeah, I took that game off too, so that probably could have been helpful as well. I would have had a bunch of Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis, so please don't tell me they double-donged or anything crazy like that. So we're going to do some... oh, thanks, Bill Butlicker. We're going to do some crunches here later. Now I got Fantasy Cruncher. We'll do it for the early. I load it up and put my projections in there. And I go in and make a lot of manual changes to my projections, so it's not really going to matter what you see there. But we'll just run some crunches, see what we can come up with for the early after we go through. You guys want to start with main or early first? Doesn't matter to me. They finally gave it to me, yep. You want to go early? Early, main. It really doesn't matter to me. Seems like half and half. Well, once I get these lineups going. All right, we'll just go in order. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just go in order. So there's no. I'm premium. You are premium? Nice. Who else signed up for that discount code that Tom gave us yesterday? That was pretty cool. I know a couple of you DM'd me saying that you were going to use it, and it was good to see. So just a 10% discount. You guys are, that's all you needed for some Osmo.com premium, huh? All right, a couple more lineups. Joined full year premium yesterday. Thanks, Ryan. Premium member said main slate. I'm hearing early. Do you know what Cruncher does that RG doesn't? It's a better layout. I think that code was just for yesterday. If Tom comes in here, maybe you could get him to honor it, but I don't have that kind of pull, so you're going to have to ask Tom if he comes in here. I don't use Fantasy Labs. Yeah, I don't really feel the need to. Yeah, Tom always crushes it. He's always at the top of some tournaments, or at least one tournament, it seems like. Let's see. All right, last lineup here. The Dodgers. There we go. Okay. So I took out the, what was it, Mets Nats? Yeah. Syndergaard, Malone. I actually wanted to play Tommy Malone, but won't get the chance to do that, so we'll start right here on the early. Oh wait, let me change this. You guys wanted this to change. We'll go no fill. Do you crunch by your projections? Yeah. So you can input like Fantasy Cruncher's projections. It takes a few crunches for me to get the percentages I want. So it's not just like you run one crunch, for me at least, and I get all the percentages I want of guys. I make manual changes. I limit guys. All that stuff. My FanDuel name is the same as my DK name. Tommy Nation 1. TOMMIE Nation 1. We were the St. Thomas Tommies in college, so that's why it's Tommy Nation. I think I had a shirt. I think I still have that shirt, actually. It says Tommy Nation on it. I was probably wearing it that day or something when I made it. All right, guys, what do you think of this? Does this look good on your screens and stuff? You can see this. My font's big enough. All that stuff. It kind of cuts off. I can see. Kind of cuts off on FanDuel. You can't really see the ownership. But I'm more a DK-oriented player anyways. So you can see DK right here. Right here. Yeah. All right, good to go. We got a few people in here, so let's get it started. Alex Cobb, Sonny Gray, Orioles 3.4 run total. Sonny Gray and the Yankees 5.7 run total. Yankees huge favorites. Sonny Gray is the chalk, as you can see here on the early slate. Kind of expected. It's just too good of a spot for him to avoid. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's not too good of a spot to avoid. Gray has been volatile, and it's not like he's just mowed through everyone. I think he has mowed through the Orioles once or twice this year, but still not a guy that I fully trust. So I'm going to try to be under this percentage. When I spit out my crunch, I was well under that. And I kind of like that because I don't want to play a chalk pitcher that I don't love on a 5-game slate. Not that pitching's great on this slate because it's really bad, but I would just take my chances elsewhere. I don't think he's like 3 or 4 times as likely to be I'm getting a call. Nice. Can you guys hear that when I'm getting a call when other stuff comes on my monitor? I'm pretty sure you can. It's probably like a doctor's appointment. Let me check this, make sure it's not important. You can hear that? My bad. Yeah, that's what it's for. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Okay. I have Cobb under the Detroit bats. Is that right? Oh, God. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm all good. Oh, God. Just a checkup. Checkup for my neurologist. Good stuff. For migraines. Migraines are awful. So I just check in with the neurologist every couple months, and it's all good. I would play Tommy Milone if he was on this slate. I was kind of hoping DK was going to do the 4 games that start at 12 Eastern and 1 Eastern. So I would have wanted to play Milone. Like, if I was playing Showdown, I'd probably get some Milone in, but don't play Showdown. Just wait an extra hour and play the main or the early slate. Yeah, so I got to fix this Reds and Tigers, that's what it is. Why the hell? Yeah, I know. I have Nats bats above Romano. What did I do here? Yeah, I do take magnesium. Yeah, that's the play. Let's see, what am I messing up here? Oh, that's why. Oh. Alright, well, I'll fix that in a second. So, okay, I have the Reds here. Just distracted. It's tough to talk while doing this, while trying to load stuff, trying to talk to you guys. But that's what I do for you. Then what was the other one? Oh, the Tigers. Oh no, that one was good. All right. Yeah, that one's good. All right, let's do this. Sonny Gray's chalk, and I don't like it. I know the Orioles are terrible, but like, give me some Jace Peterson, I guess. Give me some Chris Davis. Beckham is fine with me. Like, they traded away Scope too. It's like, geez, this team is garbage. So that's probably how I would do it. Jones, Peterson, Beckham, and maybe Chris Davis or Trumbo. A full stack is going to be pretty contrarian. As you can see, these are really low ownerships for just a 5-game slate. So that's just attractive in itself. When you get a team at this low of a total ownership right here, it's just a team that I at least have to consider being overweight on. And I'm going to do it, especially when the pitcher on the other side is 46%. Such a good leverage spot. I think Gray is a good play. If it were a bigger slate and he was going to be less chalky, I would be on him more. But I don't believe in Sonny Gray, that he's a 50% chance of being a top 2 or 3 pitcher. So that's my beef with them. Guys, try to ask questions on the game that we're on. So right now we're on Baltimore, New York. Just going to be Yankees chalk all over the place. Look at these hitter percentages. Stanton 37. Everyone else hovering around 20 in the top 5. Got everyone else after that. If Gleiber is going to be unowned, I like Gleiber a ton. Or I'm sorry, Greg Bird. And then Andujar, I like Romine. He comes out as a pretty good play on DK for me. In the bottom right of your Excel. Oh, you want it zoomed out? TMCB, you want it zoomed out? Like this. We'll put it at 85. Oh, zoomed in. Oh, okay. We'll go like 93. Is that better? How's that? How's that? I'm looking at it on my screen. I'm on delay. Good? Good? All right, cool. So the Yankees are chalk. I mean, it's hard not to like their bats. Alex Cobb's not a guy that I like anyways. And I think I said it on the night shift yesterday. He was getting a little bit unlucky, but still getting up a ton of hard contact earlier in the season. Not going to strike many guys out, striking out more lefties than righties. I can't even really get to him as a value on DK, but I'm sure I'll end up with some of him just because he's so cheap and he's starting not really on a pitch count or anything. So he's 4%. I mean, I'm probably going to be over that just because I have Orioles. He's a good, I guess, somewhat of a correlation play. It doesn't really work that way in baseball where you play your pitcher with your full stack. Like if you're doing a Baltimore stack, you probably don't even need Cobb if you're doing a full Baltimore stack because you don't need salary in that case. No, you're good, TMCV. You're good. You're a good chatter. So Cobb is just good leverage off of the Yankees stack. I will say that. I don't think he's a good pitcher, but it is baseball when you get a guy that's this low owned and a stack against him that's this highly owned. It's just good leverage. So I'm not going to say the Yankees are bad plays because they're not. They're absolutely some of the best plays on the slate, but you're paying for it with ownership. If I was in a single entry, there's no way I'm playing Yankees bats, especially not like these guys. If I'm in a single entry, I might play like a Bird or an Andujar or a Romine or something like that, or like a bottom of the order stack. You got to get different in single entry. Bird or Romine, like on FanDuel, what are they? $200 apart or something? Oh, they're $900 apart. I mean, I would go with Bird on FanDuel over Romine. Yeah, you're going to have to go down in the lineup. You're just not going to be different stacking Yankees. So, same thing with the Indians, too. There's two very obvious spots, and everyone kind of knows that. So, it's just tough. You have to think differently. Maybe not make the most optimal plays, but you want to make the most correlated plays that people aren't going to be on and hope things go your way. That's how I look at short slates. It's just tough to pink on short slates if you don't have 150 anyways. So that's enough of that game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, the Yankees are going to be mega chalk, as they should be. Another chalky team. Maybe there are 3 spots that everyone is going to be on. Here we've got the Reds and the Tigers. Got Saul Romano. Mike Fiers. I was wrong on this yesterday. I just assumed Fiers got traded because I got the alert that Fiers got traded. Or there was a deal in place for Fiers. I was just under the impression that he was gone. And now all of a sudden I see him starting this morning for 7,800. I don't want to play Fiers. Fly ball Mike Fiers here. In Detroit, it's 80 degrees. And it's a team that I respect, especially against righties. They added Preston Tucker. They've got Mason Williams in there. They're cheap, and they're in a really good matchup and a good park as well. So I love Scooter, Joey Votto. I don't even have to say Suarez's name. You guys know my stance on him. He's in play all the time. He's very good against righties. 16% ownership is fine with me. Um, Man, I think in lower stakes the Yankees are going to be super super popular, and like the red like and the Indians because they're teams that people know. But these might be some names that not as many people know. So I'm on the Reds quite a bit against Fires. I don't respect Fires really at all. He's not striking guys out, giving up hard hits. Um, he's just not a good pitcher, and the Reds have some very good hitters. So I'm on the Reds. Love them. They may be my favorite stack of the early slate. I like Preston Tucker here. Did I mention his name? I like him for 3,500. He's got some power, as you can see, against righties, and Fires is going to let him put the ball in play, hopefully. Romano on the other side. He's a favorite here, minus 106. Nothing huge, but I think he is usable at 5,200 on a slate this small. It's just a righty against the Tigers has been a pretty profitable strategy as of late. You just go down this lineup, you look at their WRC plus. It's just something I like to eyeball when I'm first going over the game. And you see no one even that close to 100. Castellanos is over 100, but the rest of the 8 guys are well below average. So just not a lot of good hitters. You're not looking for strikeouts for Romano at 5,200 anyways. You're looking for him to go 5 or 6 innings. So that's the appeal with Romano. Just gets a super soft matchup. He can strike out guys like Jacoby Jones. He can strike out Goodrum. Hicks from the right side. Look at that K percentage. McCann, same thing. Reyes, same thing. So it's just, I could see him racking up a few strikeouts, escaping this game with double-digit DK points, and that's going to be enough, I think, on this slate for 5,200, especially if you're stacking up one of the Yankees or the Indians. Never thought I'd play Saul Romano at 14% ownership, but here we are. If you're stacking against Romano, I actually do like Goodrum. I think Goodrum could hit a home run off of him, or Candelario, but that is really about it. I like lefty power lefties against Romano, and those two guys have some pop for sure. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I haven't checked in on you guys in a while. Is playing chalky players good or bad? In tournaments, look, you can play chalky players, or you can play a chalky stack. You're just competing against so many other people that have that same stack, or most of that same stack. So it's just, in tournaments, like a single entry, you only have one entry, obviously. So why would you want to play 25, 30% chalk, where even if it hits, okay, but 25 or 30% of the rest of the entries have that same lineup, so you're not even cashing yet. It's just, I don't know. I'd rather get away from it. I know it's really tough to overlook spots like that, but this is baseball. There is so much variance. And, yeah, I'm just more apt to go away from the chalk, especially on shorter slates where the ownership is so saturated into a couple teams. Differentiate at hitters in general, but it depends on the slate. All right, we done with Cincinnati, Detroit? I think we're probably done with that. Red stack, Romano in play, but some lefty power against him is fine with me. I'm not on Fires. Batters have more potential to get points. Yeah. All right, Cleveland and Minnesota. Carlos Carrasco and Adalberto Mejia. Carrasco, not the highest owned pitcher on the slate. I don't understand why. I know people want to play the Yankees bats, but this is a spot where you can differentiate at pitching. It's not like he's going to be unowned, but under 30% when Gray is 46 and Manaea is 37 is pretty appealing to me, especially when you look at what Carrasco has done over his last, let's say, 8-1. Oh yeah, happy August, guys. When you look at what Carrasco has done as far as swinging strikes lately, And I sometimes don't even look at the results, like 7 innings, 5 Ks or whatever. I'm more looking to see how many bats you're missing. And I haven't even looked at what Carrasco's done as far as DK points or any of that, but he's missing so many bats right now. Swinging strike rates almost reaching 20 as I filibuster to try to pull this up. So he's getting good results, actually, as well. Last 2 starts, 6 1/3, 6 2/3, 8 strikeouts in each. And then 19.6% swinging strike rate, 16.7% swinging strike rate. Going back a couple starts before that, 15.7, 13.5, 15.7. He's just in a groove right now. And the Twins traded away one of their best hitters in Brian Dozier. As I said, they've got Sano in the lineup. You see these strikeout percentages near the bottom, and he could feast on this lineup. Yeah, I know. Mortal Syndicate, I know. And that's also just me kind of being lazy and just not fixing the names. Like, there's a relief pitcher named Jose Ramirez, so that's why he comes up like that. But, yeah, you're right. I need a master sheet. So the Twins, bats I don't really like, especially if Carrasco's not going to be the highest-owned pitcher. He does give up some hard contact, as you see here, but I think the strikeouts are going to be there. The Twins are a team that has basically given up. 1, 2, 3 is going to be tough for Carrasco, I think. You look at these guys, they don't really strike out that much. They've got power. These Polanco and Rosario do. And, yeah, exactly. Kike, Enrique, Hernandez. But I just think Carrasco should be able to mow down this lineup. This is not a good lineup at all. And Carrasco is missing so many bats right now. I think he struggled against the Twins in the past, and there is wind blowing out, and it's fine hitting weather, but yeah. He's got shelled the last 2 starts versus the Twins, but I don't really care about that. I'm more looking at individual matchups, and I see a lot of advantageous ones for Carlos Carrasco. And he's just a way to get different lineup construction than the gray people. So that's why I like him. Mejia, 5,400. Really tough spot for him. It's hard not to like the Indians, especially Lindor, Jose Ramirez. I'm not a big Brandon Guyer fan, but he does hit lefties really well. And maybe that's just my bias from him coming out. Yeah, it does account for handedness. My sheet does. Coming out of games, they hit Bauer well. I didn't watch that. I didn't see what Bauer ended up with, actually. He was pretty quiet. So you needed Godley anyways, so it didn't really matter. Godley had like 35, right? 37. Where was I at? Jeez. I'm all over the place. Oh, there we go. So I like Lindor, Ramirez. I mean, everyone's going to like those guys. But as the stack as a whole, like the bottom of this lineup, Yan Gomes sticks out to me as a really good play. But I'm not crazy about the Indians stacks. That's another way I think I'll be different, lower on the Yankees and the Indians as full stacks. I mean, I'm going to have a bunch of Lindor and Ramirez just because they always come up for me. Like, no matter righty against a lefty, these guys are 2 of the best hitters on every slate, it seems like, every time. And Mejia is fine, but not someone that I'm avoiding. He's just not going to be able to strike them out. And in target field, pretty good hitting weather, I think they should be perfectly fine here. They should be able to hit the ball hard at the very least. Same with Yan Gomes, so he's one of my favorite catchers on the slate. All right, we good with that game? Yeah, the juniors too. Yeah. Good old XL. The sites can't just decide on names for these guys. Like Yuli, Uleski. Some people add in like Jackie Bradley Jr. Some people just say Jackie Bradley. So the VLOOKUPs become difficult. You have to change it at the source, and that gets confusing sometimes when you're doing this every single day. Yeah, Jose Ramirez as the pitcher. Right. Does he go into Alex's ranking sometimes? I haven't noticed that. it should be universal. Yeah, I saw Bauer's strikeouts numbers when I checked like an hour into the game. I saw he had only struck out a couple guys. So it wasn't a perfect strikeout matchup, but I just assumed, or I just was putting more faith in Bauer than the Twins bats, that they would be able to fight him off. But good for the Twins. All right, Toronto and Oakland. This is the last game of the early slate. We've got Marcus Stroman, Sean Manaea, two pitchers that are going to see pretty hefty ownership, 60% in total. We can talk about Stroman first. Let me pull up his sheet on my other screen here. Go Blue Jays. So Stroman against lefties has struggled, and that's why I'm a little nervous to use him here. 15.6% K rate against lefties, a 156 whip. He's getting a lot of ground balls, but almost 40% hard contact, just 16% soft contact, a lot of pulled balls, and that seems like hits and hard contact for Lowry and Olsen, two guys that I absolutely love on this slate. And then you look at their ownerships, 8 and 7%. I like this A's stack a lot. So this is hopefully another way I'll get different. I really like the A's full stack. Toronto used up a lot of their bullpen last night because Gaviglio looked like trash. And he came out in the third inning. So I don't know how many relievers they ended up using because I went to bed because it was like 11 o'clock or whatever, and I had to wake up and do this. But Gaviglio was out early, and they had to dig into that bullpen. They used at least one of their two new guys, I think, and they just don't have a good bullpen. They gutted it over this last week anyways. So A's stack, I absolutely love. Chris Davis against a righty. That's perfectly fine with me. I actually prefer him against righties. Matt Chapman, same thing. A's just have a lot of very good hitters. Kana Piscotty, both on my radar as well. Nick Martini looks like a pretty decent hitter. I watched him hit last night, and he's patient, not afraid to take walks, and that's a perfect guy to have in a stack for 3,800 on DK. Manaea on the other side. He kept coming up in my model just because I think he's boosted by like his average points from earlier in the season when he was just mowing everyone down. He had that no-hitter against the Red Sox. I think he had a 15 strikeout game, followed it up with something like a 15 strikeout game. Or was that Paxton? I'm getting those two confused. Anyways, Manaea against righties is not the same pitcher. The swinging strikes have been there for him as of late, so that like got me interested in him. But you look at his numbers against righties: 17% K rate, getting ground balls, that's fine. xFIP just over 4, but 40% hard contact, just a 225 BABIP. I mean, it's pretty safe to say he's been somewhat lucky against righties. And if he's going to be the second most owned pitcher on the slate, I'll have some Toronto bats. I think he just does not deserve to have that ownership. And I know he's going to be chalky on this slate. So I'll go with Teoscar, Justin Smoke, Solarte. If Grichuk leads off, I love that. He should be able to be hitting lefties. He's hit lefties in the past just fine. So I love Grichuk. Those top four, they're just a pretty good leverage stack. I'm just going as different as possible in this early slate. So getting exposure to both sides of the hitting on a game that the pitchers are going to be popular. That's where I'm going to be, all the Toronto bats. I think, if you just want to go 5-man Toronto or 4-man Toronto or game stack this, not that I'm intentionally trying to game stack, but if it fits and you want to play Carrasco, we could look at some crushes actually right now if you guys want to do that. Let's see what it came up with. So this is what it came up with for me. We got one more game, don't we? We got a couple more games. No, just one more. One more. I forgot about my boy Wade LeBlanc. We'll do that in a second. All right, last game of the early. Houston, Seattle, Dallas Keuchel, Wade LeBlanc. Keuchel is a somewhat safe option, but I don't see him getting strikeouts in this matchup. Haniger and Cruz scare me a lot. Segura does to some extent. So I get the Keuchel play. It's a good park and a low run total against him. So I get it. I'm not against using Keuchel here. But 33% ownership, does he really have upside? I don't think so. But then I ask myself, do other guys have upside on this slate? And I don't really think so. So I think Keuchel is somewhat of a safe bet for like 12, 15, maybe upside of like 18 points here. And that would be fine on this slate as long as Sonny Gray doesn't go crazy, or Manaea. But I like Haniger and Cruz against him. He is good against righties. There's no doubt about it. He still gets ground balls and all of that. But those two, especially Cruz, just grade out so well as hitters against lefties, even against a soft contact machine like Dallas Keuchel. On the other side, LeBlanc. I'm using Wade LeBlanc a lot. I'm going to force in some Wade LeBlanc. So he gets that same good pitching environment. The Astros have been ice cold. And they obviously have a watered down lineup. Springer's questionable. Who knows if he's going to play. So Wade LeBlanc, just ownership, and not only ownership, he's actually been good. LeBlanc has. He's limiting hard contact against righties, limiting line drives, doing all that stuff, limiting base runners in total. His whip is really low, just over 1. And then you look at his swinging strikes as of late, ignoring the results. He's had good results, but the underlying numbers look pretty good as well. Last 3 starts, so he had an 8.3% swinging strike rate against LA. That's expected. They don't strike out that much. But then against Chicago, 16.7% swinging strike rate, the White Sox. In Coors, 12.6% swinging strike rate. Chase rate above 37% for those last 2 starts as well. LeBlanc looks pretty good to me. So I hate targeting against the Astros, especially with the lefty, and he's going to get 8 righties probably. But Houston's just been ice cold. I don't expect a lot of strikeouts for LeBlanc, but I think he is somewhat safe as well, which is weird to say. I'm going to have some Wade LeBlanc against the Astros. If I'm targeting hitters against him, Bregman sticks out as the best play. 5K for him. You see the XL error right there. Tyler White doesn't come up. These guys don't have big enough samples, but I know J.D. Davis can hit lefties hard. I'm going to limit my exposure to Houston. I would assume they have decent ownership like this, especially on the big guys. But I'll be lower than that as well. So most of my exposure is coming to, it's going to go Haniger, Cruz, Oakland, Toronto. Who else did I say? Oh, Cincinnati as well. They're like the chalk stack that I really like. And then some Baltimore as well. All right, let's look at these crunches that it's spit out for me. We can just try to crunch this again. Oh, whoops. Any lineups in for this early slate? What time is it? I don't know. They got 3 more hours till that game starts. Let's just crunch it again. I don't know who's starting at catcher for Oakland. My model really likes Fegley. I don't know why. All right. So I did a 5-2-1 input. Only Nats, but not DK. Oh, I see. So you've got Carrasco, Mejia. I don't like Mejia, but he's just cheap, and he's been okay, so my model likes him. You look at Mejia, Manaea, Cobb, Carrasco. This is something. Look at this right here. I like this a lot. You get leverage off the Yankees. Full Cincinnati stack. Chris Davis, Piscotty, and then Nelson Cruz for the early slate hammer. I don't have the FanDuel projections in there. Oh yeah, I gotta get Judge out of there, right? Where's he at? Oh yeah. How do I get him out? Let's see. Oh, just uncheck him. We'll uncheck Gary Sanchez as well. Right? Yeah. Let's try this again. Is Winker going to play? No, whatever. We're just putting Preston Tucker in that spot. If you even can. What's Tucker's salary? 35. Whatever, you can put in whoever you want in this spot. Mason Williams. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I think he is out for the season. Remove from my pool. There we go. So this is kind of what we're looking at for the early. See the pitcher percentages. A lot of Carrasco. I bumped up his projection on purpose so he would spit out a lot. I think he's the best pitcher on the slate, and it's not a perfect matchup, but he's kind of the only, even like close to being an ace type pitcher on this slate. So that's why I have Carrasco in there a ton. I'm just zigging while others are zagging, going with the lower owned, lower price stacks because everyone's going to be able to pay up for bats. You see this right here. This is oh no, this wasn't the one I was talking about. Full A's, Cruz, Haniger, two of my favorites, against a chalky Keuchel, and then Eugenio Suarez one off. That's nice. That's nice. Oh, thanks, Daniel. Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm getting the feel for Fantasy Cruncher. It's been going well so far. Didn't have any troubles on the live stream yesterday. It's hard to stream, try to answer questions, give somewhat usable analysis, and crunch your lineups when you've got guys lineups coming in and all that stuff. Machado and Scope. Yeah, exactly. That's why I want to stack on Baltimore. I don't know why it won't let me. Is Leonys Martin going to be in the lineup? Does anybody know? Actually, lefty. Maybe he won't. But anyways. So you get the idea. You can take out Winker for Tucker or Mason Williams. God, I like all the Cobb lineups, unfortunately. I'm going to end up with... What did you set up in advanced settings for these crunches? Yeah, so I'm still playing around with it, so this might change. So I usually do 49,000. But on a slate like this, like shorter slates, especially where I just want to get different, I might go with that. I'll do like 3 uniques. I didn't limit anyone yet because I just wanted to show you guys what some lineups look like. Team stacks. So I added all of them. Added all 5-2. And yeah, that's it. So it's going to give me a 5-2-1 in every lineup. I mean, I might go 4-3. Who knows? We can try this and see what it looks like. I want to see the Cincy stacks. So 4-3-1 looks similar. Ooh, that right there. God, Cobb in the lineup though. That's the problem. You got to play Alex Cobb or Sal Romano. Can you guys see this? Okay, now you can see it right here. Take out Leonis Martin for someone else. I don't know. Martini. There you go. 4-4. Yankees lineup out. Hasn't refreshed for me yet, but all right. So that's the early. Let's talk about the main slate now. We'll go Chicago and Pittsburgh. It's the next game on my list. It's Cole Hamels starting for the Cubs. My boy Cole Hamels now pitching for my team, which is always great, and I'm going to use him. So, triple whammy there. I usually don't like Cole Hamels. He's been my nemesis all year, but it's kind of hard not to want to play him here. The Pirates have been so bad against lefties that it's just too tough for me to ignore for 7,900 for Hamels. You see his ownership here, 20%. I'm comfortable with that. How many games are on this late slate? 6 games? Yeah. So that's fine on a 6-game slate for what I think. I think he could flirt with the top raw point scoring pitcher. Pittsburgh is striking out over league average over the last month against lefties. They have, I think, around an 80 WRC plus. I wrote it in my spotlight pictures here. And then he's getting swinging strikes. So you know why I love this guy. He's been pretty solid all year. No lefty mashers on the Pirates either. No guys that I'm necessarily scared of. It all adds up to me wanting to play Cole Hamels in his Cubs debut. Kingham on the other side, I don't want to play. I like this Cubs stack against him, especially Rizzo, Jason Hayward, Javi Baez, Wilson Contreras, Happ, Schwarber. I mean, any of these guys are in play for me. I don't think Kingham is... I think Kingham is coming down to earth. I know he had a couple decent starts towards the beginning of the year, but he's getting hit hard as of late, and I want to take advantage of that. I think the Cubs could club him here, and we're not seeing huge ownership on them. So Rizzo, Baez, both getting some ownership, but the rest of the stack is not. So all the way down to Happ and Schwarber, 5% and 1%. Look at that. All right, LA and Tampa Bay. Tropiano against, who's it going to be for Tampa? Obviously not Chris Archer. Oh, is it Tyler Glass now? No way. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm doing a quick lookup of Tyler Glass now on Baseball Reference right here. This is what I do anytime there's a guy coming up from the minors. Go on Baseball Reference, and this guy is one of the most volatile pitchers that has ever existed. I remember playing him last year when he was on the Pirates. You can just look at his game logs and see, but how do I get to his... Here we go. Let's go to minor league splits. Game logs and splits. All right. Oh, he's been in relief. So 57 pitches in his last relief appearance. So somewhat stretched out. You know, he might get to 75, maybe 80 if you're really stretching. That was on the 26th. So was that 6 days ago now? I don't have a real issue using Glass now. He's going to get a ton of righties. Like I said, incredibly volatile. Like, he's tough to watch sometimes, but he has good stuff. Can get righties out, and I'm willing to take a shot on him at probably very, very little ownership. I don't have him loaded up, but I can find him here in the ownership. Good park for Glasnow. Obviously a park upgrade. $10%? Yeah, I'm in. I'm in for Glasnow at 10%. The problem is, we looked yesterday at just how good the Angels have been against righties as of late. The last 2 weeks, WRC plus closer to 200. And yeah, exactly. If he can ever harness it, he's got true ace potential. He's huge. He is huge. And very good stuff. But it can go downhill in a hurry. So what scares me is just how good the Angels have been against righties as of late. I'm going to play both sides of this for sure. I'm going to be overweight on Glasnow. I'm going to be overweight probably on some Angels. Trout will probably dong off him. I love Ohtani here. If he's going to be 6%, I don't know why he would be so lowly owned. But yeah, I'm in for both sides of this. I think it's going to go one of two ways. Glasnow's either going to get blasted or he's going to have a nice start and probably go a strikeout per inning. So both sides. I wish I had better analysis for you for that, but Glasnow is such a wild card that you just never know. Pittsburgh has a couple of those guys. Chad Kuhl, Glasnow. Yeah. Bauer used to be like that a little bit. He's been primarily relief, though. Yeah, so he cannot hold runners. That's a good point. I forgot about that. So Trout, obviously a fantastic play. Is Upton stealing this year? I know he can steal. Let's see. 5 stolen bases on the season. So, I mean, I wouldn't be playing Upton for your stolen base potential. Obviously, Pujols cannot steal. No one wants to watch that. Anderson Simmons has a handful on the year. How deep do you think he'll go? Yeah, 75 to 80. I would think is probably his max. He threw 57 in his last relief appearance, and that was 6 days ago. So if they've known he was going to get dealt, and maybe that's why they've held him out, you add 15. Is he actually starting or opening? That's a good question. Obviously, if he's opening and they're just going to go 2 innings with him or 1 inning, don't play Glasnow. If they say he's going to be the starter and he can go 5 or 6 or as deep as he can go, then I think he's in play. So this is a bit of a fluid situation. You're going to want to keep an eye on this if you've got alerts from your favorite site. Pay attention to those because there should be something that comes out on a pitch count or an inning limit or something. Yeah, Tampa Bay is a bit of a question mark. And it's not like the Angels have been bad. That's the other problem. Tropiano on the other side, I'm not really interested in him. Obviously a good park, but he gets blasted with hard contact. Now Tommy Pham in there batting in the 2-hole. You've got Bowers, who I like a ton in this spot for 3,900. CJ Cron, you can now play Bowers and Cron together, which I like. I'm actually on the Tampa stack, so Kiermaier up at the top, and then love Bowers, Pham. If you need Michael Perez for 3,100, I think that's fine as well. So, bats on both sides, and then not Archer, but Tyler Glasnow, if he can go 5+ innings. So that's going to be the question mark for today. I'll try to figure that out as the day goes on. Miami and Atlanta. Pablo Lopez against Anibal Sanchez. Wow, this game in jeopardy of playing, it looks like. I don't know what I'm going to do with this game, but just looking at the chances of weather, it looks pretty bad from 6 Eastern to midnight. So I don't know that this game is going to go. If it does, I think Pablo Lopez is, shark, all in Pablo Lopez. Yeah. I like Pablo Lopez. I think he's a solid player. And this isn't a very good matchup for him. But for 5,700, he's going to get you a different roster construction if this game even plays. I like the swinging strikes. I love the chase rate. That's something I've been putting more weight into as of late. Guys that just get chases, provides some upside, gets people to swing at bad pitches, create ground balls, weak contact, all that good stuff when you're getting chases out of the zone. On the other side, I think Freeman and Markakis are still in play against Pablo Lopez. Tampa Bay beat writers have nothing on Glass now so far. Okay, good to know. Good to know. We'll keep an eye out for that. If anybody sees anything this morning or this afternoon, just pop it in the live stream chat. Josh will be back with Chris tonight. So you'll have enough of me. I'll still be on the night shift, so I guess you won't have none of me, but just after now, it'll be me and Josh going forward. Man, Albies, Freeman, Markakis, well, mostly Albies and Freeman, 20 and 31% owned. This game, I don't think plays. If it does, Anibal Sanchez is going to be chalky if the weather clears up. And I think Sanchez has been good. The problem is I don't think he's been good enough to be considered like a chalky option. And we're going to get to the chalkiest option of the main slate, which I absolutely love that he's chalky because I want to stack against him. But a couple Braves bats in good spots. I wish there were better bats I could play against Sanchez. Real Muto, I love a ton. Brian Anderson, I like against lefties, but I'll play him against righties as well. And then Justin Bour. So these three, I think, are my favorites for the Marlins if this game goes. Malone, further early, I would go there. Remy. All right, so that's probably enough on that game. Maybe anything is too much for that game because it looks pretty dicey. Kansas City and Chicago. Jake Junis against Dylan Covey. Two more pitchers that I'm really worried about using. Junis just gets blasted by righties and lefties. I know he can have good starts. Like the K percentage is perfectly fine. He can strike out. Righties, and the White Sox do have a fair amount of righties. But I need to change his name to Jacob. Hold on. Let's change his name so he gets his ownership percentage. There we go. 18% owned, as you can see right there. For Junis, I hate that. When everybody's paying for the same guy that's super volatile, I just want to pay for a different guy. I don't care if he's higher. When I think all these guys are bunched together, I'm just not likely to play the chalk. So that's why Junis is not really on my radar. It's a 5 total against him. I think I'd rather play Dylan Covey. We've seen him have decent starts, and it's a much better matchup. It's not like there isn't power in this White Sox lineup, especially if Palka's in there. Absolutely adore Palka tonight. Abasel Garcia can hit righties. Jose Abreu can hit righties. Yolmer Sanchez up there. I like how this projected White Sox lineup is constructed. So those top 5 are pretty easy for me to get to, as is Omar Narvaez for only 3,400. So the White Sox might actually be one of my favorite stacks on the night. I just love stacking against Junis. 40+% hard contact to lefties, an xFIP over 5, whip near 1.5. It's just a really good spot for the White Sox, in my opinion. And you get to leverage off a somewhat chalky option. Covey on the other side, not expecting a lot of strikeouts, but the Royals have made lots of pitchers look good as of late. James Shields, most recently, had a fine start yesterday. And I just think Covey can be okay for 5,900. I'm paying up for pitchers. If you saw the main slate Spotlight Pitchers article, you can see I'm paying up. So I want to use those 3 guys I mentioned as much as possible, but I will have a mixture of Covey and Pablo Lopez if he's in Glass now. So Covey will be like the cheaper guy I'll go to. If you just look at what the Royals have done as of late, they've been anemic against righties, against lefties. It does not really matter. They've just been a overall terrible team, 23% K rate over the last month against righties. So yeah, I'm targeting them once again. Salvador Perez, Lucas Duda. Those are the two guys that I think grade out the best for me if I'm going against Kobe. Yeah, that's about enough as far as Royals bats go, I think. Glasnow is only pitching 2 to 4. Don't play him. Where are you seeing that, Calvin? I mean, if that's the case, you can't play him for 7K, but just need confirmation on that from like a beat writer or something. Let's go to the next game, Colorado, St. Louis. This is the swing game on the slate, I think. You've got Kyle Freeland going up against Luke Weaver. We'll talk about Weaver in just a second, but I like Kyle Freeland a lot as a pitcher. He's much better he's much better than I think people give him credit for. People just stack against him, lefty in Coors or whatever. He's been fine in Coors, and then outside of Coors, he's gotten at least 11 DK points in every start outside of Coors this year. So the Cardinals have righties, but they do strike out a bunch, and he can go 100 pitches. So I said right here, not the sexiest of options, and that's true. You're looking for 15, 16. I mean, you're looking for like 20, but if he gets you 15 or 16 on this slate, I think that's going to be okay with all these putrid pitching options we have. And then some of the Cardinals bats are going to see some ownership as well. I like Yachty against lefties. I like DeJong against lefties. But there is some strikeout potential for Freeland here. I think he's pretty sneaky. Wow. Nice job, Dan. 25-cent winner yesterday for 1K. Just a 4,000 times return. Nothing too big. Man, that's pretty cool. Nat Stack, I'm assuming. Nat Stack, and I don't know who the other stack was, but. So, Freeland is on my radar. This is what we got right here. Weaver, 48% owned. Highest owned pitcher on the slate, even over Rich Hill. I think that's ridiculous. I get it. Weaver's 7K. He's had good starts. As I always say with him, I can't tell you from start to start whether or not he's going to miss bats. It doesn't really make sense to me what he's done from start to start. He can get strikeouts, but it's not like he's mowing anyone down. 21% K rate in total. These numbers are fine, all these. But it's not like he's getting you 20 DK points every time he goes out there or anything. Colorado is not as good in Coors against Colorado. What was I saying? I'm trying to read chat and talk at the same time. Colorado outside of Coors against a righty has been pretty bad, but they will have some lefty bats in there. They will have some power in there. Arenado, Blackman especially. Trevor Story's done a much better job against righties this year as far as putting the ball in play, hitting for more power. A 230 ISO for Story on the season. And I'm just stacking against a 50% owned player every time on a 5-game slate, especially one that I don't really believe in. I think Weaver is overrated. Yeah, Josh is going to be all 48%. I'm sure Josh will he'll hit his cap. Weaver will hit Josh's cap. His model loves him. My model absolutely hates him. So I'm just going with what my numbers are telling me. He's not as good of a pitcher as people give him credit for. He's probably a better real-life pitcher than DFS, but people think he's a very good DFS play, and that's fine. But I'd rather go with Freeland or Cole Hamels or Rich Hill, all for less ownership. I think those guys are well above Weaver for me in point projection, and then you add in the ownership, and it's just it's a pretty clear fade for Weaver for me. I don't know if I'll have any. All right. So, yeah, I mentioned the Rockies bats to stack against him with. It's those top 5 Para is okay. People think he's like the worst hitter in the game. He's not. He's fine in a stack, especially. Yeah. All right, so that's where I'm at. You guys could have guessed where I'm at for Weaver. Just he's not my man. He's Josh's. He can have him. I'll take Eugenio Suarez and Trevor Cahill and Zach Godley. Milwaukee and LA, the Dodgers, last game of the night. Chase Anderson and Rich Hill. Anderson is someone I was on last start. Really believed in him. He had a fine start. Didn't get the strikeouts I was expecting. Just 3 and 6 innings in San Francisco. After what Wade Miley did to this Dodgers team, am I just overrating the Dodgers? I don't think I am, but that one start really messed me up last night. I had a bunch of Dodgers stacks with all my Nats at the beginning. I was just ready for them to light it up against Miley, and then he goes out there and throws a gem. So that was super frustrating. But no, I'm still on these Dodgers once again. Anderson, I think, is improved, but this lineup, once again, not trying to mess around and target against this lineup, even on this short of a slate. Anderson's going to be virtually unowned, so I guess I will have, even if I have 2 lineups out of 150 with Anderson, I'll be over the field. So he's going to pop up a little bit just because he's got a higher projection for me than Weaver. I'll probably make them around the same. But man, it's a super tough spot for Chase Anderson. I'm going to have a ton of Muncy, Bellinger, Grandal, Taylor. I don't even need to say the names. Everyone's in play for me. I just love them all. The problem is their ownership here. But I think they are probably the top stack, maybe behind the White Sox for me. But those are the 2 chalky, highest owned stacks. So, yeah, love the Dodgers. If you want to get crazy and leverage with Chase Anderson, I think he is improved. His chase rate is up. Swinging strikes are up. And could he have an okay start here? Yeah. And, I mean, if Wade Miley can do it, then absolutely Chase Anderson can do it in LA. Rich Hill on the other side. Milwaukee bullpen is good too. Rich Hill on the other side. 9,600. I think he's my favorite option of the night in that I'm looking for safety at pitcher tonight because I don't think Weaver is safe at all, and people are just going to lock him in because he's 7K. I don't think that salary is really an issue tonight. So I kind of wrote about that with Hill and with Freeland a little bit, but I thought Hill was going to be the chalkiest option on the slate, but it looks like Weaver is going to get there. 28% strikeout rate against righties. He's getting a lot more swinging strikes as of late. You see the percentages in his last 2 starts, and that's what I needed to see out of him. So I just think he's got a good chance for 18 to 20 points. There are some strikeouts in that Brewers lineup. You'll still have the lefty Moustakas in there. Aguilar strikes out. Jonathan Scope strikes out. Man, that lineup looks a lot better, actually. Not as many strikeouts as you would expect, but Hill at home, he's done it against similar matchups like the Braves. He just did it against them with the huge swinging strike rate, so I like to see that. I'm on Rich Hill. I think he is somewhat safe. Top cash game pitcher for early? Early on DK? Or FanDuel? I don't know. The slates are a little bit different. But top cash game pitcher on DK for the early. Man, I would go with Carrasco, honestly. Anybody got any questions or comments about the slate? I'll stay on for a few more minutes. What are you guys going to do with Luke Weaver? Because that's just an auto fade for me when he's 50% owned. Like, do you guys think he's good? Syndergaard on the early slate. I don't really like Syndergaard. The Nats have speed. Syndergaard, it's free stolen bases for everyone when Syndergaard is on the mound. So if Turner and Eaton get on, they're going and they're stealing it. So it's a pretty terrible matchup for Syndergaard. Malone was impressive to me in his first start. So he had he had a bad first inning. I think he allowed a 3-run homer or something. And then just bounced back. I think he had 15% swinging strike rate, got through 6 innings. I'd love to see that out of Tommy Malone. And then the Mets have been one of the worst teams, if not the worst team. I'm looking it up right now, against lefties. Second highest K percentage for the Mets, almost 26% on the year against lefties. Nice 78 WRC plus, an ISO under 120. They barely get on base above 300. That's all like bottom 5 to 7 in the MLB in all those categories. What else do we have? Oh, no, okay, so I get the Robbie Ray at 50% chalk and Luke Weaver at 50% chalk is completely different to me. Like Ray has 10 plus strikeout upside. Like you've seen him post a 35-point performance recently. Or maybe I don't know. He's been hurt for some of the year, right? So maybe not that recently, but you've seen him do it, right? And he's got the big strikeout numbers. Super volatile. You know what you're getting yourself into. Weaver, like his upside, I don't know. Has he had a 30-point game this year? How many 25-point games has he had this year? Even if you fade him, I think Hill, Freeland, and Hamels definitely has more upside, in my opinion, than Weaver. Hill has more upside than Weaver. I mean, if Glasnow is going 5+, I think he has more upside than Weaver. So it's not like he's the only high upside option on the slate. So I just don't understand why people flock to him. I really don't. How is Dozier hitting righties? Yeah, those numbers are on the sheet right here. Shark. Dozier's not been that good this year. The first month and a half, he was garbage. Lefty against Hill. Yeah, that is good when you bat behind Jock, Machado, Muncy, and then you got Bellinger, Grandal, Taylor, Puig behind you. That's gonna boost anyone's numbers. Harper or Soto as a one-off for FanDuel GPP. I think I would go Harper. I mean, Soto's fantastic, but I mean, I just think Harper's a little bit better of a hitter. Couldn't you just see the Nats ripping off like 12 straight now? They go from trying to trade their best player to putting up 25 runs a few hours later. Like, I can just see them going on a tear and winning the World Series. Got to start working on that early slate. What time is this lock at? It's a 12 my time, 105 Eastern. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start putting in the crunches and stuff. Thank you guys for coming in chat. Here's a last look at some of the early lineups. I don't know if I'll be using any of these because they have players that are out for the season and such. But I'll get these crunches squared away. I'll be in the early slate. See you guys in there, hopefully at the top. All right, JM. Good luck. It will be 2 fun slates. You know, it's a nice refresher to have a shorter slate, less options, and get to leverage ownership. Tom makes a killing on these slates, and if I could leverage ownership like him, I would be A very rich man. Do you like Angels? Um, yeah, I mean, I like them against Glasnow. Glasnow is a guy that can lose his control really quick. At least when he was up in the majors last year, he can lose his control. Things can go downhill, walks, stolen bases, all of that stuff. So I like the full stack against Glasnow, or um, just kind of avoiding the Angels altogether. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow, actually. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Josh. We'll get Josh's beautiful spreadsheets back tomorrow, and it will be good. Show him some love when you see him on the live stream later this evening. I'll be in chat giving my home run picks. Oh, I got another one last night. Oh, that's right. Matt Davidson. So I'll hopefully give you another home run pick tonight. Yeah, good luck, guys. Thanks for tuning in.